We have left things like your sex topics, your sexual immorality, your righteousness. We have left those things to chance. And apart from leaving it to chance, the government will not come out and say abstain, but they will say which one works for you. Do you want to prevent via a condom or a needle? Instead of them saying abstain, instead of them saying this is wrong at this age, they'd rather give you options of how you're going to do it. So it's either you're going to go the injection route or you're going to go the condom route. So meaning that they are saying, yes, you can do it. It's funny, and I'm going to be all over because I'm starting differently from how I thought I was going to start. It's funny how human beings are very, human beings. At some point, God was like, you know what? It's fine. With this lot, let's just wipe all of them. Let me create a new one. Let me see how it's like deleting an app. Delete an app and just load another one and see maybe this one will not freeze on the way. Human beings are okay. Let's leave human beings alone because maybe not all of them subscribe to the ideology of Christianity. Let's say Christian human beings. Christian human beings are so funny that they are more afraid of falling pregnant. You're contesting this one too. Okay, finish.
So what I wanted to say, this is how I'm thinking, right? That when you get married, it's like spending your last coin. You cannot, like, you are done.
You are done. Game over for you.
It's game over.
Whether you've bought a toy, whether you've bought an undercooked meal, whatever, you have spent your coin.
Auction term food steward.
Then it's too late. Because now you are married, there are books, there's stuff, there's things that you can do to learn, to try and, perfect the meal so that you can be good for the both of you.
Let me tell you something that you're not going to contest, since Christians lately they contest scripture. If it is God ordained, if it is God ordained, you won't have that problem. Argue with scripture. You guys are saying you're not new creatures, so you're still old creatures. I'm very worried. You're not renewing your mind with the word. I'm very worried. This you can't argue with. If it is God ordained, to a certain extent, it spills over to what you are saying. Love is very blind.
So that you're not going to be able to compare. Because if you don't know, what are you comparing
it to? Exactly. It's very true.
Basically, the gist of things that what we were basically talking about was that if you do not have sex before marriage, you won't have anything to compare it with, because you would have never had the experience of being intimate with someone else if you had waited. But the challenge comes when you haven't waited and you've had a lot of experience and had different sexual partners. Then it becomes a challenge when you enter into a marriage and you find that the person you're married to is not sexually compatible with you. And we went on and spoke about how if the person is really meant to be and is God ordained and is meant to be with you, and you're truly in love with that person, you can make the relationship work and you can improve your sexual life because you truly love this person and your relationship is God ordained with this person.
There are real, and I don't want to call them real problems, but they are real life experiences. Where, I don't know where you come from, how you were raised, how you view certain things.
Yes.
And the truth is vice versa with me. Now, again, I'm all over, but we're going to get to a place somewhere. In Genesis, when God puts Adam to sleep and he pulls Eve out of Adam, Adam wakes up and says, bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. And the Bible says that after Adam knew Eve, they became one. After Adam knew Eve, they became
one.
I will spice it up with a meme that says, me and her are dating. And when we are dating, she says or I say, he is my whole life. And then we break up. And then she's my whole life next month.
Yeah, another whole life.
So then the question comes, are you a whole pizza with a whole lot of slices?
A whole lot of
Because we don't understand, everyone that you meet every week,
It's
every
your
month,
whole-
it's your whole life. But so I'm thinking about this, Brother Zimba. This could go either I'm gonna instill the fear of Jesus into you, or we're gonna have a frank talk, right? But the soul ties, to a certain extent, brings fright and the fear of Jesus very quickly. If I do that without being careful, I might skip certain stages. For
the mere fact that the government is distributing condoms and is saying, they're basically saying to the kids, you can have sex, but this is the way that you should have it. The bad thing about our country is not like India, is not like Turkey, is not like other countries. In Turkey, all the Muslims, you have to get married before having sex. And it's a huge shame when you have sex and you're not married, including India. That's why if you can look at in Turkey and in India, the divorce rate is very low compared to South Africa. Another thing, how sex is such a big issue in South Africa, we are having so many teenage pregnancy because, not that kids don't know, I don't wanna lie, kids know what they're doing, they know. Education is out there about sex, but they still do it. Why? The problem that we have is we lack discipline. And discipline goes a long way. Discipline starts with little things, from disciplining yourself when you're craving something, to disciplining yourself when you're constantly on your phone on WhatsApp, to discipline of eating. So if you teach yourself to be disciplined with one little thing, it actually affected me. It really did affect me. To a point whereby, you know, when people break up in relationships, then they say, I'm gonna take some time to find myself, and that whole process. That whole process, people don't even consider it. They move from one relationship to another. And it's very important that you sit down, you look at yourself, and you ask yourself, is this you? My experience is, I've looked at myself after a breakup and I was like, Kulu, who are you? I would find myself in a situation whereby I'm lost. It's no longer me anymore. I know Kulu used to do this. I know Kulu used to do that. But Kulu doesn't feel like doing this anymore. Why? Because you've joined yourself with this person. Yes, it was a pleasurable experience for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but the consequences thereafter, they last for a longer period. It really affects who you are. You even lose the person that you are, your identity, your confidence. If you were in a relationship with someone who wasn't confident, who didn't love reading, who didn't like going to church, it damages you spiritually. It even affects your self-esteem. It affects you in any other way.